All right, all right. What's going on? Back for another episode of See It, a show about movies and stuff. Last week we were talking a whole lot about the good old Oscars. The Oscars are over, and it's time to move on. There's a lot of things I want to talk about today. Specifically, I want to get into a little bit of um, the rest of the spring. Spring is really weird in terms of the way that movies work during the spring. Not weird, but it's interesting the way that it works. And we'll talk about what's left in spring, what I'm excited about. I do have a couple of final thoughts on the Oscars before I get into that, though, that I do want to get into. Basically, just wanted to say that something else that I've noticed, and I had a couple of conversations with other people about as well, is that the Oscars seem to be kind of bare outside of our giants of Morgan Freeman and of I mean, we got a lot of shots of Steven Spielberg. Harrison Ford gave us Best Picture, but besides that, I don't remember any big names. We know that Spike Lee and Denzel, who were staples at the show, they were at the Lakers game that night. I don't remember seeing Tom Hanks in the crowd. Maybe I missed him. I don't remember seeing Bradley Cooper or any of these people. And I'm wondering, did people boycott? Did actors decide and Hollywood types decide not to go to the Oscars this year for one reason or the other because of last year? Were they concerned about what happened last year? Were they offended about Will Smith's being basically dismissed from the Academy award shows for 10 years? Is there reasons why people didn't go? I don't know, but it was an interesting idea to hear from other folks say those things. And I was like, yeah, that is true. That is true. I was listening to The Big Picture with Sean Finney and Amanda Dobbins. They're the first ones to point that out that I know of. But then I started hearing it other places. I'm like, yeah, that was very, very strange. But regardless, I think the show was fine. I think the show was fine. I think that outside of the uh, controversy with Best Supporting Actress, there wasn't really any hiccups in the show. I think that they should have added everybody to the in memoriam section. I don't know why Tom Sizemore wasn't there when he was in some of the greatest movies ever in the '90s, from Saving Private Ryan to Heat to you name it. Some other folks didn't make it there as well. That was kind of strange that they didn't put everybody there because it seemed like Lenny Kravitz was playing his music on a loop anyway, so they could have put a couple of extra minutes in there. Some of the props didn't work. Some of the props did. It was fine. It was fine, but now that the Oscars are over and award season is finally done, we can start looking forward to what to expect for the rest of the year. I think that this is a very amazing time for cinema in terms of the amount of projects that are coming out and the amount of projects we get to enjoy. The spring, I think, is action packed. I think that the summer is going to speak for itself, and I really don't know what to think of the fall lineup just yet, but I do know that there is always something to enjoy there as well. But basically, when we get over that hump of the Oscars, we get to just kind of see what's going to be in the field for best movie of the year. The winter season, which I consider winter season to be basically the beginning of January till the first or second week of March. I think that it's very rare we're going to have a movie come out during that time that's going to be considered one of the best movies of the year. I think that Creed could make a case. Creed 3 could make a case, but outside of that, there was nothing that came out this January, February, or March that's going to make that case. I think that there was a lot of fun movies. We got Megan, we got Scream 6, we got. I thought Cocaine Bear was funny. There's films like that, but there's nothing that's going to really rock the boat come award season or even make anybody's list for best of the year. But I do think that the spring is so interesting because what you find in terms of spring films is that there are certain movies there that probably couldn't compete during the summer in terms of being actual blockbusters because they're coming up against a lot of times established IP. Are they going to beat the Marvel movies, the DC movies? Are they going to beat Mission Impossible? Are they going to beat? Are they going to beat the Pixar film? No, they're not. They're not. So it's safer to kind of hedge your bets and put them out during the spring and how these films make some money. And usually you get some really interesting things here. Last year we got Everything Everywhere All at Once at that point as well, um, which was my movie of the year. Will there be a case for some movie in the spring here as well? I think so. I think so. I think I plan to actually talk about not all the films, the films that come out in spring, which the spring season to me is mid March all the way till the first week of May. I consider the summer movie season to be 4 months: May, June, July, August. The reason why May is considered in the summer is because that's when the first Marvel movie drops or whatever the big movie is. It's usually that first weekend. Excuse me, I need to. That's what happens when you go live. I gotta blow my nose. I don't want to sound so congested. So give me just a second. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Spring is also the time for allergy season, so dealing with some of that today. But anyway, I want to look at 25 films that are going to come out from basically this weekend all the way to the beginning of May. What films am I excited about? Give a couple of quick previews of these films and talk about where they are. To have some fun with this, I'm planning to actually, because I'm excited about a lot of these films, the top tier, the S tier, the Let's Go tier, I am going to limit myself to only 5 films. So my top 5 films that I'm excited about for this spring will go there, and the other 20 are going to have to sit somewhere else. And you think that this would be easy, but it won't be, because there's so many of these films that I'm definitely interested in. But let's go ahead and just get into it. So I want to go by release date. So I have my notes here. So starting this weekend, we have a movie starring Willem Dafoe, if I can find it, called Inside. Inside is a film about a art thief who botches his theft and ends up getting locked into this super secure building that has no food. It's the temperatures are controlled in a way to protect the paintings and not him. So it's like man versus nature, but in a building. Willem Dafoe is one of my favorite actors. I think he should have gotten an Oscar by now. He's been nominated 4 times and has not received one. He's one of the best character actors that we've had in the past 50 years. I put him up there with really anybody that you would consider a character actor, of some of our best. I'm very excited about this film. I'm going to put this at "You Have My Attention." I'm definitely seeing that this weekend. The other film that comes out this weekend is Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Zachary Levi, he said some stupid stuff. Recently, he put a really dumb Instagram post. I don't know why people in DC continue to try to basically tank their movies by putting out their really bad takes out there. Like, this promotes your movie. I'm not saying that you have to be fake, but if you know that you have some really bad takes or some takes that might ruffle some feathers, just be private. Have a private life. There's a reason why certain people protect their privacy, but I try not to look at what actors, directors, and so forth do, because unless it's something really egregious like a Roman Polanski type of thing, I don't really want to cast judgment on people. That all said, I'm going to put Shazam! Fury of the Gods at could be good. I think the first one was a big surprise, and because it was such a big surprise, the first would have, there's a lot that people have to live up to for that. Sorry, I'm trying to get my comments so I can see everybody's comments. I think it has a lot to live up to that. But you got Helen Mirren, you got Lucy Liu, you got one of my favorites, Megan Good, right? Lindsay says, "Get to feeling better." Thank you so much. I I hope I don't have to do one of those weird things again. But I'm gonna push Shazam: Fury of the Gods. It could be good. I'm gonna keep it going because there's so many films here. Next film that comes out, it's going to come out March 24th. A Good Person. This is directed by Zach Braff. For those who don't know the name, you definitely know the show Scrubs. I can't remember his character's name in Scrubs, but he is doing more and more directing. He directed a film that he wrote called Garden State. Man, he was still doing Scrubs. This must have been at least 15 years ago. And he's had a couple of different things here and there, but I like him. Florence Pugh stars in this film. He wrote this movie with Florence Pugh in mind. They used to date. In fact, I think that they were living together during COVID when all this went down. When he was writing this script, and it was a script that's very personal to him because he was in the middle of grieving the loss of his sister when he wrote it. Florence Pugh, people know that I think that she is very talented. She may be my favorite actress working today. She's definitely top 5 actress working today for me. I loved her in so many things. She talks about how she only picks intense roles, and this is another one. She's dealing with loss and dealing with addiction and all kinds of things. And also you have the great Morgan Freeman with this. There's no way this can be anything except really, really good. This could be, I'm not going to say it's going to be the Everything Everywhere All at Once of the spring this year, because it's just a different type of movie. I think it's going to be a pretty big downer for most of it. So I don't know if it's going to resonate or make the type of money or get the rewatchability that Everything Everywhere All at Once had, but it's going to be poignant, and maybe this will put Florence Pugh into some consideration later on when award season starts over again. Morgan Freeman can do no wrong, so I'm very excited about that. Next film is John Wick Chapter 4. Let's just cut to the chase. This is going to be one of my top 5 most interested, most excited about. Let's go. John Wick Chapter 4. There is actually a screener for critics tonight. I don't know if I'm going to be able to go, but mainly because this movie is 3 hours long and the screener is like an hour away, and I got kids. So, but either way, I'm going to see this film. I can't wait to review it for you. I am at the belief if this film works, which there's no reason to believe that it won't, that John Wick will surpass The Matrix as not only Keanu Reeves' most recognizable franchise, but also his best franchise. He has 3 franchises he's known for: Bill and Ted, The Matrix, and now John Wick. John Wick is his Taken, but he's doing it better because all the films just get better and better and better. I mean, yeah, you can say that 2 was up and down, but 3 was amazing. And a 3-hour epic, I feel like that if they could have cut something that they would. I'm all here for John Wick Chapter 4. Next, we have a movie that's not going to be on TV, but it's going to Apple TV on March 31st, and that is Tetris, starring Taron Egerton. I think it could be good. I mean, Taron Egerton, he's a Oscar-nominated actor at this point. You know, he did a amazing job as Elton John. I loved him in I was going to say The Gentleman, but that's the Guy Ritchie films. They have the suits and stuff. You know what I'm talking about. He was great in that action series. I want to see him do more work. This seems to be much more comedic and much more serious at the same time, which is right up his wheelhouse. The story of the invention of Tetris should not be this interesting, but the trailer makes me interested. Like, I didn't know that the Soviets were involved and there was this big thing, and the Cold Wars is really a big part of this story. I'm not sure how much is dramatized or is hyped up, or how much is. Sorry, I got a couple more comments. Let's get it, B. Yes, really excited for John Wick. Yes, absolutely. Excited for Tetris too. Could be good. I don't know. It's straight to streaming. Apple TV picks up really good projects, though. I don't think that I've run across it. No, they had that Chaos Walking, or the Chaos movie with Tom Holland I didn't like. But for the most part, I like all of their films. There's another straight to streaming movie that's going to happen on March 31st. Let me find it here. And it's a Murder Mystery 2, starring Jennifer. Um, let's see what we're going to play. Adam Sandler and Jennifer Aniston. I like Murder Mystery 1. I thought it was funny. People forget that Jennifer Aniston, I think people sometimes forget how great Jennifer Aniston's comedic timing is and how she was able to hone that on that show Friends. And she's had some, um, I think about was it Marley and Me that she was in, or a couple of others. She does really good as the as a lead actor. She could do great as the love interest. She has really good comedic timing in terms of being the straight man. And I think that her and Adam Sandler had really great chemistry in the first one. The first Murder Mystery wasn't great, but it was good. So I have to say this could be good too. That's on March 31st. Next is Spitting Gold. This is the story about Casablanca Records. There was a big startup record company that was trying to compete with the major industries, titans of industry at the time. They did everything from R&B to the rock rock and roll to whatever they signed Kiss to Gladys Knight to whoever you can think of. They had working for them at one point. The trailer gives me cause to pause. I'm gonna say Spitting Gold is gonna be meh. I say meh because look, there's a lot of great character actors. If you don't watch a lot of movies, a lot of TV, you're not gonna know who any of these people are. So I don't know if it's gonna be a draw for people. The story, I don't know if it's interesting enough to draw a crowd without a big name in the film. And also, I don't like how in the trailer it makes it seem like they're gonna paint Motown Records as being this big baddie in the film. And Motown Records means just a bit too much to black people to try to negate them or make them seem like there's some sort of mafia um, type of industry. I mean, what Barry Gordy did for black people and black music and black film, I think that would probably rub me the wrong way. Now, did they send like Hitman after the people at Casablanca? I'm sure that's up for debate, but it seems like it seems a little too much for me. But hey, if you want to see it, I'm gonna see it and let you know what I think. But that comes out March 31st. The big film for March 31st. I'm just gonna go ahead and put it up there. Dungeon and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. I'm putting it at the Let's Go tier because I want to tell you people, I told you so. I told you so. I told you so. I put this in my at Comic Con when the trailer released. I put this in my top 5 in terms of movies I was excited about because of the trailer. And people said, Brian, you're crazy. You're an idiot. You're a dork. You're all these things. This movie looks terrible. The special effects look terrible. I'm like, what are you talking about? It looks like it's having fun. Oh no, Dungeons and Dragons just won't work on the TV. Now we've had all these video game adaptations that work and gaming adaptations that work. We forget that Chris Pine is a star. Maybe you don't remember the Kelvin universe of Star Trek, those movies that he had, Star Trek and Star Trek Beyond. Amazing films, in my opinion. I really loved him in that. I think that he was great in Wonder Woman and so many other things. He is a star. Michelle Rodriguez is an action star. She's one of our greatest female action stars. Now, I didn't cancel her for whatever her little stupid saying about what Liam Neeson said and all that. I know people have some beef with her. I'm over that. Whatever. I'm ready to just have some fun with this crew. And also, the directors directed Game Night that came out in 2018. People thought that movie was going to be stupid, and it wasn't. It was the best comedy, or one of the top 3 comedies of that year. I think it was 2017, 2018. They also did the Vacation remake with Ed Helms, which was okay as well. So top tier, Dungeon and Dragon: Honor Among Thieves. I have a I haven't even told him this, but I have a neighbor who's really into board gaming, and I know that he's a Dungeons and Dragons guy. And if I get a screening to this, I'm gonna see if he can go with me, so I can get in real time is this movie good in terms of what it means to Dungeons and Dragons fans, and also is it good for just your layman like me? So hopefully I get a screening to that, and he'll agree to go with me. If not, I'm sure we'll connect on it later on. What else we got here? I already have two, and we have 2/3 of the movies to go. Let me think about this because I don't want to lose all of my let's goes. The next movie came out in Sundance as a small film. A.V. Rockwell, black woman who's making a lot of strides and making a lot of noise in the directing world. Tiana Taylor starring and won the main award at Sundance. It looks like it's going to break my heart. I'm very interested and very intrigued and see what this means for cinema moving forward. So 1001, you have my attention. I think that you're going to be good. I know that you're going to be good because you won Sundance. I'm wondering what's going to be the reaction, what's going to be able to be the draw for this. Tiana Taylor, her star power, I'm old, maybe I don't know, but I feel like her star power is not what it used to be. So, can her name alone sell this film? I don't know. I think this is produced by Neon. If it's not, then please, not Neon, but Orion. Orion is known for giving black film and black cinema serious cinema. Not that all black cinema is not serious, but like these really like art house type of films. Some space. Basically, Orion is like the A24 of black cinema. That's basically in their mission statement they came out with last year. The first movie that comes to mind is oh man, I can't think of the movie right now on top of my head. Their most recent film. Um, Whoo, what is going on, Brian? If I think of it, I'll tell you later. But I think this is with Orion Films, and if it's so, that gets me even more interested in it. Let's see what happens with that. Air, which is the story of Nike. Um, Nike is trying to basically court Michael Jordan before he hits the league to let them release a signature shoe. And Nike is not who we think Nike is now. Nike's a little small startup. Nike is like a somebody who just built an app, basically, if I was to compare it to what they were back in the 80s. And they were able to build this empire together. Phil Knight and Michael Jordan. And it's going to be starring Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck is directing. Ben Affleck is an amazing director. Last time Matt Damon and Ben Affleck got together, um, well, not, they've worked plenty of times together, but the first time I think about that comes to mind is Good Will Hunting. They both won Oscars for their screenplay for that. So, Air, you have my attention. All right, now we're into April, and the first movie comes out April 5th is Mario, the Super Mario Brothers movie, and I'm going to go ahead and put in the Let's Go tier for Super Mario Brothers. I love the trailer for this too, and both like similar to Dungeons and Dragons, Super Mario's Bros. A Let's Go for me because there was so much hate on Chris Pratt and Chris Pratt's voice when the first commercial came out, and like, why didn't they have the original voice for Mario do the voice for the movie? Blah blah blah. Then the trailer with Jack Black came out, and then we started another trailers, and the movie just kept looking better and better and better. I was sold from the beginning. Folks were just really beating up Chris Pratt because it's cool to not like Chris Pratt. I love Chris Pratt. I like all of his projects, and to me, it's like they weren't paying Chris Pratt to be the Mario voice. They were paying Chris Pratt to be Chris Pratt. You want kids to say, "Oh, that's Star Lord. Oh, that's the guy from Jurassic World voicing Mario." This is a kids movie at the heart of it, and so that is a selling point for your film. And I think that they're going to make it work. And then you have all these great character actors around him. Jack Black could have just did his voice as Bowser, but he didn't. And other folks, Peach, played by I think Rosario Dawson, is Peach. I might be wrong on that. I'm sorry, but everybody else is doing voice because you want Chris Pratt to stand out. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. The movie looks incredible. Each trailer we get looks better and better. I had a friend who was a doubter, I'm gonna call him out on this live here. He said it was gonna be terrible. Now he's saying it might be the best animated movie of the year. I'm not ready to go there, but I'm glad to see people coming along, even with the Chris Pratt doubts. Let's go for Super Mario. Now I've had some pretty big blockbusters, nothing really artsy in my Let's Go tab. And I don't know if that's gonna happen, but we'll see. On a Wing and a Prayer. This is a movie that's coming straight to Amazon Prime. I'm not gonna spend much time on it. I'm gonna put it in the man. Um, it's Dennis Quaid that's going to crash land a plane, and that's the most Dennis Quaid type of film that I've ever heard of. It's not going to be the best plane movie of the year. Plane was that, but Dennis Quaid is very consistent in terms of what he does in his performances and the projects that he picks. So the film's going to be at least serviceable because he's attached to it. Is it going to be great? No. Straight to streaming, Amazon Prime. Check it out if you want. I might do a midweek like short review on it. I won't do a full review on that. April 7th, Chevalier is a movie about. I'm probably not even pronouncing it right. I don't even care. I'm not pronouncing the movie right. Chevalier is a man for me. Look, it's a movie about a black, which it's about a black Frenchman who is a genius violinist and composer, and also helps with the revolution in France, and is this known historical figure that is elevated because of his proximity to blackness. Uh, I don't believe that blackness was similar to what we would think of to as now in terms of the races that existed. Um, Institutional racism and stuff like that. I mean, it was there, but it was like at the seeds of it. But they tried to. The big thing about Chevalier is that they tried to erase his blackness in history as history moved forward, which is what makes the movie look interesting, or the story interesting. But I'll say this: the movie looks corny as all get out. I'm sorry, it's probably gonna be good, but it looks corny. It's not my type, my cup of tea. I don't really like period pieces like this all that much. I feel like it's trying too hard to say something instead of just letting the movie play out. That's the way the trailer comes out, but maybe that's the way that they're trying to sell the film. I don't know if it'll be more nuanced once it gets to the screen, but it looks real mad to me. It'll probably be a midweek movie review for me too. It's not going to be a priority for me. Paint comes out on April 7th, starring Owen Wilson. Paint was going to be one of my Let's Go's because I thought it was about Bob Ross. Look at him. He has the Bob Ross fro. He's painting. He says like the little speeches. This movie is not about Bob Ross. It's about some guy named, what do they call? Carl Nargle, who has a public access painting show, who basically gets a lot of women and is like living a high life, and then somebody comes that does something similar to him and like steals some of his thunder. It's not very Bob Rossy. It sounds like to me because Bob Ross is the same as we know. It's just weird that they did that, and the way they're promoting this film, to me, it's not very forthright. It's kind of misleading in terms of making us think that this is Bob Ross, even if Owen Wilson was inspired by Bob Ross for this performance. That's crazy. I don't know why they promoted this film like this, but there you go. The Pope's Exorcist. We have Russell Crowe playing an exorcist who is employed and sent out to uh, basically exorcise demons on his behalf. So his direct boss is the Pope. And I'm going to put this in, if I can find the deal. Oh, here it is. Could be good. Could be good. I first was gonna say it was mad because the trailer didn't approach me, but look who's attached to this. You have Russell Crowe, Oscar winner, delivers pretty good performances when he tries, and looks like he's trying in this film. And then you have directing Julius Avery, who did Son of a Gun, which I liked a lot. I think that came out in like 2015, 2016. It was starring the guy who plays in the, why can't I think of his name right now? He's in Star Wars. He's in um, Fantastic Beast. I was gonna say David Hyde Pierce, but that's not his name. If I think of his name, I'll come back to it. But anyway, he was in that film, Son of a Gun. He directed Overlord, which was this horror sci-fi zombie crazy Nazi thing, which I absolutely loved. He also directed The Last Samaritan, which came out last year. That was that straight to Amazon Prime, Sylvester Stallone superhero movie that was absolutely terrible. But I'm going to say this is going to be much more like Overlord and less like The Last Samaritan, I hope. And if it's more like Overlord, this movie has the potential to kick ass. It really does. I think that Russell Crowe can still bring it. He has this accent that seems kind of authentic to me. I'm not really great with accents though. I think it could be good. Here's a movie that my wife and I have been talking about so much, and that's Renfield, starring Nicolas Cage and Nicholas Hoult. The only thing I know is Nick Cage is playing a crazy, coked out looking Dracula. Nicholas Hoult is trying to help him feed, but also stop him at the same time. Aquafina's in this film. She's funny and everything. I hope that she's doing more than what she's doing in the trailer. The trailer, she's kind of just had this dopey look on her all the time. But I think that they're going to give her something to do. And if that's the case, this is maybe the most fun film of the spring. It might take that away from Dungeons and Dragons. It might take that away from Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers. So we'll see. It looks amazing. It could be very bad though as well, which I love about Nick Cage movies. You never know what you're gonna get with these things. Okay. One True Loves. The only reason this kind of hit my um radar is because Samu Lu was in it, and it's basically about it's a romance movie. It goes straight to streaming. I want to say it goes to. I didn't write it down. I'm sorry, but basically, you have this woman who loses her husband. Husband is lost. She thinks he's dead, and she ends up getting engaged to another man. She falls in love again eventually, only for her husband to show back up. It's kind of almost like a Castaway type of situation. Like basically, this film would be like what Castaway would be if that story played out after the guy was came back from being stranded all the whole time. So the woman has to Sophie's choice to choose between her first love and her second love. And it seems I'm not a big romance movie guy. It seemed like a movie I would watch with my wife at home, which I'm hoping that we do. But I can even say that she's going to be more interested in the other film that comes out April 14th, which is Renfield. They come out the same day. I think Renfield is going to get everybody's attention. Guy Ritchie has another film coming out called The Covenant, starring Jake Gyllenhaal. It's a military Afghanistan war epic. I'm going to put this at you have my attention. I think that it'd be disrespectful to put any Guy Ritchie film under that. They haven't done a lot of promotion for this yet. I'm assuming that we're going to start seeing more trailers drop soon for this. Guy Ritchie is an amazing writer, but he did not write this film. My understanding is he just directed this film. So that is interesting to me that they chose him for his artistic talents in terms of directing, but will that translate without that real poppy script that he's known for being in the background? I'm not sure, but I'm interested because Guy Ritchie's, I mean, his name is in the title, Guy Ritchie's The Covenant. So let's check it out. Let's see. Now I have a really hard time with these last couple because there's two that I want to put in that let's go territory, but I only have space for one. And man, I don't know, but we'll get to that here pretty soon. Well, I guess we guys get into it now. I have to make a choice. I'm going to choose the next film, Evil Dead Rise. I'm very excited about horror. Is my favorite genre of film. I love the Evil Dead franchise. What Sam Raimi did with that. I think that Bruce Campbell is amazing. He's not in this one. This film seems very, very serious in terms of the scares, which is not where Evil Dead eventually. Evil Dead kind of became much more of a comedy. The last couple of films in that series, this seems to be amazingly frightening. I have to put it in the you have my attention just because of a film that's coming up, but my goodness, I really really am excited about that. Evil Dead Rise comes out April 21st. The film that I am going to put in Let's Go is a film that's been delayed, but it's finally coming out. It's this crazy, kind of mind bending. Uh, Ari Aster does horror and sci-fi and a bunch of other things. I really don't know where to classify this because the trailers are not very forthcoming with that. It probably is a mix of horror, sci-fi, um, elements with this. We have Joaquin Phoenix in this film as well. He's playing different versions of himself, I think, throughout time or throughout universes. Beau is Afraid is going to be incredible. I just feel like this is going to be a movie that we're going to be talking about at the end of the year. Everything Everywhere All at Once was the first film that I can think of in ever to be a genre type of film to get such critical acclaim and actually win awards, multiple awards in terms of best. Well, that's not true. I mean, you have Exorcist and other stuff that's won, different films, but I mean, it cleaned up. Beau is Afraid can be do that. It's going to be much more edgy and much more genre than Everything Everywhere All at Once. Everything Everywhere All at Once is still at the core of it is still a family drama or a family dramedy, whereas Beau is Afraid is going to be at the core something a lot more psychedelic. So we'll see, but I am excited about this. I'm glad that Joaquin Phoenix continues to push himself. He picks the most interesting choices for film, and I doubt that this is going to be a sneaker. Let's Go. Beau is Afraid is my final pick for my Let's Go tier. But still, there's a couple other films coming out that I want to talk about really quickly. Ghosted, starring Ana de Armas and Chris Pine. I almost want to put this in just because the trailer doesn't look good to me. But Chris Evans and Ana de Armas are really good. I'm going to put this in meh. It's basically about how Ana de Armas is a secret agent, FBI, CIA, I can't remember, and she ends up ghosting this guy who she went to a date with and had an incredible time with. And the guy played by Chris Evans tries to surprise her and show up in Great Britain where he finds out she is, and she's actually there on a mission. And so she's trying to keep him safe. The only way this works is that they have to make us believe that Ana de Armas is an action hero. She has to play that role well. The director has to put her into a space to where she could be convincing. And that's going to require for Chris Evans to really shrink down himself. It's still hard not to see Captain America. He's still completely swole, completely cut. He's. It'd been better if maybe Chris Evans, like it wasn't Chris Evans, it was somebody who was a little bit more thinner and maybe a little bit more kind of frail to kind of help that dichotomy. But it's going to be hard to do that. If they can do that, it could be good. But right now I don't believe that they can. Even though I think the chemistry will be there, it'll just be okay movie. Ghosted is going to be an Apple TV film. That's the only thing that kind of gives me some hope is that Apple TV picks really good films to purchase for distribution. We're almost down to our final four. Are You There, God? It's me, Margaret. I believe this is based off a Judy Blume book. It's a family teen drama. Not much to say about this film. It looks okay. It looks like it could be cute. Could be good. What I don't think will be good is Peter Pan and Wendy. The trailer, even though I want to like it because Yara Shahidi is playing Tinkerbell, the trailer doesn't look good. Peter Pan is a weird story anyway. If there's anything that they can make live action for Disney, it would be Peter Pan because it's basically based off of people, right? So it doesn't have a lot of fantasy type of stuff. People could fly is probably the most you could do. Hook was really good. I liked Hook a lot, which came out years ago. But you have the power of Robin Williams in that film too. This one will not have that power. So I don't know. I don't know what to do about that. I don't think it's gonna be good. I think it's terrible territory. Just like Big George Foreman looks like too. The trailers just don't look good. They don't, and it's not anything against the actors. It's not anything about the director. I don't know whose idea it was to make a George Foreman film. George Foreman, outside, and it seems like he's going to really focus on this part of his life where he came back and was able to win the heavyweight championship when he was like 45 or 50 or something. He was old when he won it. He just knocked some guy out that was really beating him up most of the match. And George Foreman was always known for his punching power, and he knocked some dude out and won the championship. And that's probably the coolest thing about his story. Of course, you got the Rumble in the Jungle, but he wasn't at the center of the story. Muhammad Ali was. He was just kind of there. Not kind of there. I mean, he was a draw, but nobody. The people reasonably care about the Rumble in the Jungle is because of Muhammad Ali. After that, he sold some grills. I don't know. It just seems like a very boring story. There's no. Maybe we'll learn something about George Foreman where there's some sort of pathos or conflict in his life that makes us consider some friction. But he's just like the most clean cut, boring guy ever. At least that's the way his image is. And if this is based off of, and I'm sure he and his estate had some input in this, I doubt that there's going to be anything controversial or anything interesting in this film. It just seems like just a bore of a movie because the subject matter just really isn't made for film. Maybe it probably will be a good book, a good memoir. I have no idea how this film is going to be anything good. I mean, but I do know a film that's going to be amazing that also comes out April 28th, and that's Sisu. I'm not even going to go into why this movie. Oh, I'm sorry. I can't even put it in. Let's go. No. Sisu is going to go into You Have My Attention. It's a story about revenge, and it's crazy. It's a foreign movie. Look at the trailer. Maybe I'll put the trailer in the link to the trailer in the description at the end of this live stream. But that's all of them. What did I miss anything? Is there any movies that I missed that are coming out in the rest of this month or in April that anybody wants to talk about? Let me know in the comment section, and we'll go ahead and get into it. But as you can tell from my list, there's some pretty good films coming out. I think that we have the potential for 70% of these films to be serviceable to really, really good, and that's coming in the spring. And also, I like the dynamic that there's a mixture of so much going on here. We have gritty action films, we have comedies, we have romantic comedies, we have fantasy films, we have sci-fi films, we have horror. Like you get so many things here. Whereas when you get into the summer, there's some diversity there, but the movies that are going to kill at the box office are the franchises and the animated movies. And the smaller films are just not going to be, they're going to be overcrowded and not going to be able to get out to in terms of getting a really big response. Of these films, I think John Wick and maybe Mario Brothers could have been okay in the summer, but everything else wouldn't have done well. Renfield, which is probably gonna be a lot of fun. I don't think anybody would have saw that if they had other options that are much more familiar in terms of your franchise. It wouldn't have done anything against Mission Impossible Fallout, right? So I think that it's going to be interesting. I can't wait to review these films. That's really it's really all I got. That's really all I got. I think that next week we'll talk a little bit about. I don't know what we're gonna talk about next week. We'll see what's in the news. South by Southwest will be. It's already finished. I didn't get a chance to get into it here. I'll talk a little bit about South by Southwest. Any movie news is going on, as well as we're going to probably start seeing a lot of new trailers for the summer. So we'll talk about that as well. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you guys right back here 5 p.m. Eastern next week. You guys take care. Guys take care. All right.